Lights up!
Hi and welcome to Lights Up. Here's a quick episode to fit in for Ulster American just before the first performance. It's an edited version of the Riverside Radio interview with Paddy, Cait and Barney. Take it away, Sian.
I am joined by the lovely people from Putney Theatre Company, and Paddy, you are in the Ulster American, isn't it?
Yes, Ulster American, which is on October 4th to 8th. Yeah.
Not long now. What part do you play?
I play Leigh Carver. He is a sort of rising star as a director in English theatre. He particularly likes to promote Irish writers and Irish plays. And he's got a new play which he's just about to open, which has been written by a young Northern Irish playwright. And he's invited her and the Oscar-winning Hollywood star that he has booked to play the lead in it to his home the night before rehearsals for a little meet and greet. And a lot ensues.
Yes, rather a lot, yes.
Does it? Now, can someone... Is this is a comedy? Is it a tragedy? Is it a social commentary?
A very, very, very dark comedy.
Yes.
I like those.
It is very funny, but it is extremely dark. It's not really the kind of thing I would suggest children come to because it has a bit of violence. It has some fruity language.
No.
Sexual content.
Yes.
But it's viciously funny.
Yeah.
Excellent. So it's definitely a kind of 18 plus.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the Ken Dodd family laughter show.
No.
Can't wait for you guys to put that on.
Makes notes to self immediately.
Next in our repertoire, we're going from the sublime to the less sublime. And Paddy, have you found getting into that role and taking on this character?
I mean, I do work. My day job is as a director and producer, so handling is something I deal with quite a lot. So that bit hasn't been too difficult at all. I think trying to navigate what is, without giving too much away, a very, very complicated and set of quite sort of troubling revelations that comes out over the course of this evening. That has proven quite challenging, but we've got such a great team lined up for it that we just make each other. We do make each other laugh a lot, and it has meant that any of the more challenging aspects of the play have been smoothed over a bit by that. So it's been a blast so far.
Do you find that when you're doing challenging material like this, it does bond the cast quite a lot because to get through it, you do have to laugh. Your black sense of humour comes out, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and it's you do have moments in rehearsals where you've just roared laughing at something, and you go, "Are we now officially horrible people?"
Yeah.
I think you're quite right. It is a sort of bonding thing because you are part of what feels for a time a sort of slightly exciting, grubby little secret. Yeah. And then you get to release it onto the audience, and you discover that it's not at all. It's just a superbly well written play by an author David Ireland, who had huge success with Cypress Avenue at the Royal Court a few years ago with Stephen Ray, and who's actually familiar as a face for anybody that loves Derry Girls, where he plays Claire, isn't it? He plays Nicola Coughlan. From Bridgerton, who plays her father in it, who formed a big part of the last two episodes. So, and this is the first time this play's been performed in London as well. So it's a great opportunity for us to unleash it upon unsuspecting capital.
That's brilliant. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's very exciting for us as Putney Theatre Company actually having, although we can't obviously call it the official London premiere, but it's very exciting for us to actually be bringing a brand new play to Putney Arts Theatre under the banner of Putney Theatre Company.
Yeah, exactly. And is this part of your new remit as the Hart, Dyke dynasty. Is this,
Oh, I like that. Let's keep that in.
But is this, one of the things that you're going to be bringing over? Obviously, a mix of well-loved plays and then just some new stuff to kind of challenge the Southwest End.
Oh, well, yes, the Southwest End. Yes, definitely, absolutely. And one thing that I think if I've missed it, we haven't said about Ulster American is that it is also in our studio theatre, which is very intimate.
Yes.
So you will feel like you're part of this rather funny, nasty thing going on. But yes, we certainly do want to do challenging stuff, and the studio tends to be where we do most of that, I must admit.
Well, it does sort of lend itself to it because it seats about 50 in the studio, depending on how you configure the set and the audience. But because, as Barney just said, because of that space, it is so different, and you really do feel as part of the audience that you're very much part of the action. And actually, for the actors too, you really feel the audience presence there. In fact, it was when I joined Putney, it was my first performance, my first play was actually in the studio. It was somewhat terrifying when you walk in and you can see the whites of people's eyes.
It's a very intimate space. I've been to so many performances where the audience has been either at the back, at the front, at the side. There's been so many permutations. It's what you guys do in that space is incredible. The way you use it and constantly keep changing. It's brilliant.
Yes, it's great. My favourite moment in the studio for me was, I think, the last show I did, which was, high melodrama with Ibsen. And we were the front row of the audience were lit basically because they were so close.
Yeah.
And I walked along in the middle of a very impassioned speech, and there was a gentleman sitting in the middle of the front row holding a book with the title "Are We Having Fun Yet?"
Just about
did for me.
Was he reading it? That would be really galling, wouldn't it?
That was the only thing that could have made it better. Actually, was if he had been, but I did nearly corpse at that point. That's how intimate it is. That's how close they are.
Yeah, that's so scary, though, isn't it? Having someone that close. And have you got any kind of tricks or exercises you to do to deal with people being that close, or you just kind of got to put them out?
Well, mostly it has to be said it's in terms of tempering your voice and making sure that because strangely, although it's a very intimate space, when the audience rake is in, the back row does still feel quite far away. And so you've got to make sure that you're performing at a pitch which doesn't overpower the people at the front, but is still very, very clear to the people at the back, because we don't have we do have a sort of double height ceiling in there, but it's not quite the same acoustics that there are in the main house. So it's just a question of making sure that you hit the pitch right. And the rest of it, it's astonishing how once the lights are on and the adrenaline's going and you're mid-performance, it's astonishing how much you can zone out. It's only really when, as we had in a performance which I was directing, where we had a man come in completely innocently wearing a jacket which he didn't realise glowed in the dark. And we had to say to the stage manager at the interval, can you go and find him and tell him to take it off because it was woefully distracting. That's the only time really that it can go wrong.
Ever the professional, Paddy, darling, you carried on.
Well, the show must go on, mustn't it? Yeah. Gosh, just write a book. So must remember dates for this show. It's the 4th of October until
the 8th of October. Performances are at 7:45 p.m.
in the studio, and tickets can be bought on the Putney Arts Theatre website.
They can indeed.
Correct,
yes.
And there'll be links going up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the usual social media stuff. But obviously tickets are limited because it's a much smaller space in the studio.
So book quick.
Book early because the studio shows do sell out.
Yes.
And rightly so. Guys, thank you for coming to talk to me. I wish you all the best of luck. Break a leg. I can't wait to see it. Another challenging play from you guys. Brilliant.
Thank you. That's it for now. Do take a look at the Putney Theatre Company website and come and see Ulster American. A few tickets left, so don't delay. Bye for now.